Hey guys, so what is Thrivehood, you might ask? Well, that's a good question. I'd say it's a relevant life roadmap for young men out there who want to thrive as they're maturing boldly into manhood. From the very serious to the silly, I chat about a wide variety of relatable topics that both challenge and motivate you to do what needs to be done now so you can become who you want to be later. I'm Tim Williams, and this is Thrivehood. Hey guys, welcome in to the Thrivehood Podcast. Get you a drink, put up your feet, and let's talk shop for a little bit. This particular episode will feature Think About It. It's a series of questions that after you listen to the episode, give those questions a review. Think about it. Think about what those questions are asking. Maybe there's an opportunity here to apply this to your life as well. So the idea of she is looking for security, again, I don't know what I'll call this, but again, in essence, just girls, ladies, women. And by the way, when I mention girls in general, I'm just talking about females. Any age, I think this is adaptable to. But for you young men, we're sort of calling them girls. But I believe girls are looking for something deeper than what I think they realize. I would have to say this sort of epiphany came to me a while back. There was an event that was taking place that I was aware of. And when the situation resolved itself and everybody sort of went back to life, if you will, man, this idea of girls want security just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I started thinking about all areas of life. And I believe that what I'm going to present to you, I think is powerful. I really do. And I bounced this idea off some people and they were like, wow, that's kind of deep, Uncle Tim. So I'll try to not make it too deep. But if you'll just track with me here, I want to share with you a little bit, at least 4 different ways and 4 pillars that you could build upon to show your girl that security is something that she truly is looking for. So let's look at this. And by the way, I've just narrowed it down to 4. Again, you could dive into and go down a bunch of bunny trails with a lot of these episodes that I talk about. But I really think at the core, maybe at the beginning, if you guys are wanting to establish this as a way of really having a great relationship with a girl, start here. I think this is a great starting point. So let's start off with the easy one, physical security. Now that seems simple, but there's actually several different areas in which we're talking about providing security for a girl. The obvious is you're walking down the street and a mugger shows up, right, wanting to take her purse. You're going to show her that you got her back, right? You're going to get between her and the mugger. You're going to defend her. You're going to be there for her. You're going to watch out. You're going to protect her. I think that's the obvious. I think also protection has a lot to do with just being aware of your surroundings. There's something called situational awareness when it comes to self-defense. When you walk into a restaurant, where's the exits? Where's the restroom? You're looking at the guys that are and the people that are in the restaurant. What do they look like? Is there anybody seedy in here? What does this place feel? And feelings, man, this just doesn't feel right. I don't feel like this is a great place for us to be. Come on, babe, let's go. Let's go somewhere else. What are you talking about? I'll explain later, right? There's just an element of being physically aware and providing that sense of security for her. Also, it's how you treat her. It's treating her with respect. You putting your hands on her physically. When you do that, when you are actually physically touching her, does she have a sense of security? Is the way that you're approaching her and the way that you're putting your hands on her in a way that she feels a connection, and I want to stop short of saying that she feels love because you might be dating, but you get my point. Are you aggressive or are you gentle? Are you showing affection or are you showing dominance? There's a big difference there in the way that you physically are putting your hands on a young lady. So protecting her gives her a sense of security. Number 2, financial security. Now, I know some guys I'm talking to, you're 12, 13 years old. You're like, what are you talking about, Uncle Tim? I don't even have a job. Well, again, put this in your back pocket mentally and remember this as you're growing up. I believe that a young lady, a girl, she's ultimately saying, what is this guy providing at some point down the road? If this thing gets serious, is he really going to be able to provide? Is he really going to be able to have the wherewithal and the ability and the intelligence and the skills to get a good job? Or maybe he's an entrepreneur, or maybe he walks into a great situation, and can he manage that? Is he going to be able to handle that? Is he a good employee? Does he know how to manage business? Is he going to stick to his job? Is he going to be jumping around from job to job? All of these things could be something that she's thinking about that she will never tell you. But in the back of her mind, she's already thinking, is this guy marriage material? Is this guy going to be a good husband? I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. So they might already be thinking long term. I'm not saying they're in love with you on the first date, but they're sizing you up, young men. They're trying to figure out, is this guy somebody that's decent enough that I even want to waste more of my time on or not, is really where it boils down to. And by the way, they're looking to see not only that, but would you be able to provide if there's kids in this scenario down the road, right? They're sizing you up. They're wanting to see how well you are doing with finances. And they might be tracking. Is this guy, we're going out and he's spending lavishly all this time? Where's this money coming from? And he works at McDonald's. How can he be dropping, $500 on this or $200 on this? Or, man, he takes me out to these lavish places, but man, something just doesn't add up, right? So there's all of these questions that she's going to be asking, and you have to provide the sense that she's going to be secured financially. If your guys are going out and she's always buying, she's going to question that sooner or later. If she's always driving, right, to save you gas money, she's going to start questioning that. Your actions are going to follow who you really are sooner or later. You can put a facade up for a while, but eventually it's going to show and come through. And especially in situationships, which I'm going to do an episode on that, which I think is horrible this day and age. You can bet yourself that eventually that's going to grow old. And after time, if she's the one fitting the bill and having to do all of this and making these payments, and you guys are going Dutch a lot, and it's up to her to pay for her own way or whatever, I got to tell you, man, that's not going to go very far. And that doesn't prove to her that you are financially secure, which is what she's looking for. So providing for her gives her a sense of security. All right. Number 3, emotional security. Emotional security is about coping with and in relationships. How do you handle stress? Are you able to make rational decisions in the midst of chaos, guys? Do you act out when you get emotional? Do you get aggressive? Are you able to keep a level head through tough times? There are a number of elements when it comes to emotional security that girls will pick up on. They don't know that, I don't think. And I don't think they go into relationships saying, I've got to see how emotional or capable he is. But it will come through. And after a while, how you respond in difficult situations, how you respond to problems that arise, how you respond to disappointment, how you manage to celebrate, I'm looking at all the negative, how you celebrate and how you celebrate victories and how you manage all of these different areas that really call upon our emotional psyche, if you will, or our emotional part of who we are. She's watching that, guys. She's monitoring that and she's tracking that. And if every time something rough comes up and something challenging happens and you get depressed and you go into this depressed state, she's already realizing this is going to be a part of me. This is going to be a part of something that I'm going to have to be a part of if this is a long-term relationship. If you're in stress and you always lash out at her and yell at her and then later have to come back and apologize and this becomes a habit, this becomes part of your relationship, You think for a minute that she's going to be open to this long term? She's not going to be into that. If you have the ability to manage and make rational decisions in the midst of chaotic times, that you don't take it out on her, that you know that she's there to be a part of who you are and be supportive of who you are. If the relationship is going to that level, right? If you just started dating, that's a different scenario. But if it's been a while, 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half, all of this is going to come out. And so while you are trying to do your best to be the best version of yourself, at least I hope you are, at the core of all of that, you're proving to her that you are emotionally stable, and that gives her a sense of security, okay? Lastly, intellectual security. These are traits that show someone that you truly have got a good head on your shoulders. It includes things like critical thinking, using your mental effort to come to a conclusion or conclusions, emotional intelligence. You have great problem-solving skills, or at least you're working on it. You're very curious. You have the ability to adapt. You have open-mindedness. You have self-control. Those are just some of the traits. But intellectual security tells her that you have a good head on your shoulders. You can reason and process and think through things and have the ability to problem solve. This is a little different than emotional. That has something to do with when things get really tough and you allow yourself to get emotional about it, right? Angry, bitter, upset, mad, envious, jealousy, all of these things that we don't want to see. We'd rather see someone that has peace and is well-rounded and is gracious and has got some meekness and humbleness to them, can manage things, right? That's the difference. And maybe, let me put it this way. An intellectual realizes a number of things. And here's some examples. He realizes it's not a good idea to drive home after a crazy night out on the town, right? That's what an intellectual realizes. He realizes if he tries that pill, or maybe he takes a drag of that stuff, or he quote unquote goes for it with this chick tonight, there could be consequences. So it might be good not to do that. An intellectual realizes it's my fault, so I'm going to own up to it. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to hide from it. I'm going to own it. An intellectual realizes, I don't know, he could do this or he could do that, and she's never going to know. But you know what? That's not the right approach. That's not the route I'm going to take. An intellectual realizes I need to control myself here or there and know my limits, because I know if I do this or go there or hang with those people, I might not live to tell a tale. I might do more damage in my life and with my relationship with my girlfriend or whatever, my family, if I allow myself to go down this road. An intellectual realizes there's a problem here that needs to be resolved. Let's face it head on. Let's resolve the issue. Even as uncomfortable as it is, let's just deal with this. An intellectual says, I got some baggage that she probably needs to know about, so I need to tell her about it. Okay? Intellectual stability. What does that mean? Prospering as a young man gives her a sense of security. So let's recap. What did we talk about? We talked about the physical. Protecting her gives her a sense of security. Financial. Providing for her gives her a sense of security. Emotional. Proving to her that you are emotionally stable gives her a sense of security. And intellectually, prospering as a young man gives her a sense of security. We could go on and on and on, but I think at the heart of what this message is, guys, is that if you take a relationship with a girl, and in every area of your interaction with her and connecting with her, you can say, I need to show her security here, and I need to show her security here, and I need to show her security here. I think what's going to happen is there is going to be a trust level like you wouldn't believe. So all of this, when you wrap all of this up, guys, it really means, in essence, In almost every facet of a relationship, you need to show her security in you. She can trust in you in every single area of your relationship. You do that, you are going to have a wonderful relationship. And until next time, guys, stay strong.
This podcast is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Views and opinions expressed by guests are not necessarily those of the host. Please seek the advice of a trusted adult or qualified professional on matters specific to your needs.